Heartfelt respects to each and every one of you. Oh my God. I think Henry, are you in Florida, or is that a different place? Uh-oh, you gotta unmute him.
Unmute. I'm Maryland. I'm in Maryland, outside Washington, D.C., my backyard.
I was having hopes that I would see you with Raghunath today down here in Alachua. Big day today down here in Alachua, the spring festival, but it's blossomed there, huh? Maryland?
Yeah, we have incredible blossoms here. You know, the famous cherry blossoms, and then we have azaleas and then camellias. I mean, it just goes on and on. The blossoms are amazing here in this area.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Well, good. Well, thank you. Good to see you. Good to see everyone here. I will start with the invocation and then we will begin. Om Ganya Timidandasya Gananjanan Shalakaya Chakshun Militamina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Born in the darkness of ignorance, our wonderful spiritual teachers are opening our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. We offer our respects to them again and again at their lotus feet. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23, Text 15 through 19. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll read it together. There's a lot of reading that's going to happen today. Since I'm with the devotees, we can read together.
Yeah, we can read dramatically.
Yeah, it's a dramatic reading.
Familiar with the art of drama, Giridhari, right?
That's all I am, is dramatic. That's all I got. So we're at the text where the cowherd boys go and meet the elderly gopis. When I say elderly gopis, I mean the wives of the Brahmins. But we're going to see their inner heart's desire here in a moment. They've came to the Brahmins, and the Brahmins have turned them away. And we're about to hear the meeting, and we're about to hear what happens when these wonderful personalities are approached with some seva. The cowherd boys then went to the house where the Brahmins' wives were staying. There the boys saw those chaste ladies sitting, nicely decorated with fine ornaments. Bowing down to the Brahmin ladies, the boys addressed them in all humility. Cowherd boy said, "Obeisances unto you, O wives of the learned Brahmins, kindly hear our words. We've been sent here by Lord Krishna, who is passing by not far from here. He has come a long way with the cowherd boys and Lord Balaram, tending the cows. Now he is hungry, so some food should be given for him and his companions." The wives of the Brahmins were always eager to see Krishna, for their minds had been enchanted by descriptions of him. Thus, as soon as they heard that he had come, they became very excited. Taking along in large vessels the 4 kinds of foods, full of fine tastes and aromas, all the ladies went forth to meet their beloved, just as a river flows toward the sea. Just as a river flows towards the sea. Which is appropriate because everybody loves when a river flows towards the sea. I think we've even heard this song before, yeah? Adi, I could hear you play this song. Got a good guitar.
years. Cell phones ring instead of bells. The sacred hill has almost disappeared.
Prayers and ashes at the river's edge, drifting side by side. Sun rises over new hotels, the sages close their eyes.
Here it is.
My heart flows like a river to the sea. May it always be a river of grace flows through me. May it always be. May it always be. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti.
So it's such a moving song, and may our hearts be like that river of grace flowing down to the sea. This is what the actual gopis, or the wives of the Brahmins, were doing, and it's described in the purport of text number 19. It says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the wives of the Brahmins experienced these conjugal feelings towards Krishna as if he were their paramour. Thus, they could not be checked as they rushed to see him. And so this is such a deep section, obviously, of the Bhagavatam. We're into the very deep, in one sense, almost esoteric aspects of Krishna Lila. But it's also so practical, so simple, so, for lack of a better word, when it comes to devotion and where our hearts are supposed to be. And this is giving us such nice direction at what is the direction that we're supposed to be flowing, right? Because our hearts are meant to be just like their hearts. Where there's so many decisions that we have to make in the course of the day, and we see something as simple as this, where just a gentle request turns into a beautiful expression of what's in the heart. Now, I always like this pastime is one of my favorites because practically speaking, for my spiritual life, I was quite averse to the idea of the pageantry of spiritual life versus the process of it. I never really liked the pageantry of it, the externals of it. It always turned me off because, you know, when you get into the pageantry of spiritual life, you can become very hypocritical. But if you're into the process of it, it's very beautiful, because the pageantry is all the externals as we're seeing here. And so when I first read this pastime, I thought, yes, this is it. Not to throw away doing puja, not to throw away doing sacrifices, but more along the lines of, what is the essence of what we're doing? What is the purpose and the essence of what we're doing? And is it taking us deeper into the process of purifying our hearts? So we just saw the Brahmins reject the offer for seva. No, I'm good. And now we see these wonderful personalities, these mothers, these wives going, yes, I say yes. I put my hand up and let me share what's deepest in my heart. And what's deepest in their heart is their bhakti, is their unalloyed devotion to Krishna. And they didn't spare any expense. They didn't just look in the cupboard and find a few things. They got the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. They were ready to rock and roll immediately. Let's go. I'm into it. Let's go. And so that's the direction. That's the flow of love that comes from our hearts as we get deeper and deeper in bhakti, is when these opportunities arrive, and we say yes. When these opportunities arrive, we agree to give our love. When these because Krishna is asking for that love always. That's one of the benedictions of giving classes, is meditating on these verses and then seeing the opportunities. And since I was asked to give class, I've been meditating on these verses, and it's extraordinary. It's absolutely extraordinary to see the seva that is presented to us on a daily basis if we want it. And it doesn't have to be that the temple president comes to you and says, please do this seva. But if you're attentive, you're going to see so much seva comes. We were just, I mean, literally in the last month, there's the stirrings of a big program that's going to happen down here in Alachua. And I'm not just talking about Raghunath's program that's happening today. I'm talking about, there's another kirtan program that's happening. And then, a few people want to get involved, and it's a big commitment, but the requests come. And so can I reciprocate with those? Can I reciprocate with that request? And let me see if I can do that in a way that is pleasing to Krishna. So we're looking at this verse, and we're seeing that immediately the wives of the Brahmins are in very much, because they've been hearing attentively. And I love the crew that comes every day hearing attentively here. I love the wisdom of the sages community that's hearing every day there. And it's not different. The attraction for Krishna grows and grows as we hear. It goes deeper and deeper as we hear. And then there's going to be an expression of that. There has to be an expression of our sincere desire to please Krishna. And for some of us, it might not be even in one sense some big practical service. For some of us, our practice, our expression of it is going to be in our japa. It's going to be in our in chanting the holy name. That might be as deep as it gets. But if you're immersed in that practice, I don't have to tell you that the reciprocation is massive, because that is heard, that is seen, and that is a beautiful reciprocation. Now, some of us are going to be also have the ability to carry out, in one sense, even more the order of the spiritual master. So some of us have been blessed to have a spiritual master, somebody that has given us shelter and has given us a direction, and has seen our proclivities, and has given us a way to express our affection and our bhakti. And then it's our duty to meditate on that. How do I keep fulfilling that? How do I keep fulfilling the desire of the spiritual master? What is the thing that I can do that is pleasing? And one time I made a real blunder in my expression of my expression of my affection. I won't go into the details of it. Some of you probably know it, but it had to do with an Ekadasi one time. But I made a mistake in my expression, and I got a nice stern response from my spiritual master, and he said, he said, bhakti means that we want to serve, and service means that we really want to please. So do it pleasing, do it very pleasing. And that stuck with me, is that this is a game of affection that we're playing, and our affection and our expression has to be very pleasing. And this is a simple, straightforward request. Just give us some food because we're hungry. Now that's a very simple thing to do. And you could just give, somebody says, give me some food, and then you just go into your fridge and you take out the leftovers or whatever's just there. or you can prepare it. You can think about the pleasure that the Lord will have with it. You can package it beautifully. You can give your best when you do that. And so this is what we're seeing right here. They go and they do that, and it's a very, very pleasing pastime to hear. And it's an interesting thing, because one of the classes that I heard not too long ago at the Bhakti Center was with Gorsharan, and he was speaking about the 17th chapter and the idea of the austerities of the mind, and 17:16, satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and being straightforward in your dealings. And that's also been for some time a nice meditation that I've been thinking about. And one of the things that is paramount, if you look at the 17th chapter, you're going to see that in austerities of the body and austerities of the mind, there's one word that is in both of them, and it's simplicity. So being simple, not overcomplicating our lives, not overcomplicating what's there, is an absolute benediction. It's an absolute opulence that someone can possess. If we're simple, that is an exalted status, actually, because sometimes we will it's not sometimes, left to our own devices and left to not being austere or practicing this, we will become very complicated. And it becomes a real, it's like we have this creek next to us, and every year we have to, I mean, it turns into a wild creek. Henry knows now with all of these blossoms that if there's some weeds that are there, if there's some strange thing, they flourish, might even more so than some of the beautiful cherry blossoms, right? They grow strong. And so every year, twice a year, we have to really cut down this creek. And it is wild how quick things grow. And if we're not careful about being simple, then what happens is just stuff grows, because that's the nature, or that's material nature. You know, we have to actually practice being simple, and being simple means that we're actually seeing what is the most important thing, and we're staying very true to that, right? What is, as the AA says, keep the most important thing, or well, how do they say that? They say it's something like, to keep the main thing the main thing. That's what it is. Keep the main thing the main thing. That's simplicity. They're literally saying simplicity right there in a different language. Keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is pleasing Krishna. The main thing is not necessarily, as we just saw, the pageantry or the puja or the externals of it, but the main thing is the pleasure of the Lord. So how pleasing can I be in my act? If I am doing the puja and somebody comes into the temple with tears in their eyes, do I stop the puja to look them in the eye and share affection with them? Or do I just go on and pretend like I didn't see that, right? It's keep the main thing the main thing. Can I be an instrument of grace? We heard in Jahnavi's song where she said, my heart flows like a river to the sea. She says, a river of grace flows through me. And what is that grace? Right? Each and every one of us has that grace that can flow through us. This beautiful grace, Radharani's grace flowing through us. And can we be instruments of that somehow, some way? Keeping the main thing, because it doesn't take a lot, right? It's not some amazing thing that an embarrassing story is when I was first, in one sense, coming to Krishna consciousness. I had met the devotees in New York, and then I flew to LA, and I had some like fedora hat on, and what's his name? Brigupati, I think his name is. He's just a stalwart book distributor over there. I come off the plane, and there he is right there in the airport, right? And he goes, nice hat. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. And then, hey, do you want a book? Sure. Okay. Yep. $5, give him a book or get a book. And I'm in the taxi on the way to my friend's house. I'm going to start my new life there in LA. I don't know what this book is. I have no idea, even though I'd met the devotees before. And I had a sincere prayer, or as sincere as I could get, because I'd seen this. I was in the Skimmerhorn temple there. I was in Brooklyn, and I kept seeing Prabhupada pop up in my life. And so I went to the Murti of Srila Prabhupada in Brooklyn, and I said, I see you're a great teacher. You can guide me if you want. That was my prayer. I see you're a great teacher, and if you like, you can guide me. And then I just bowed my head down. I don't know, is this a statue? Is this I don't know what's happening. I just somehow that came out of my heart. I see you're a great teacher, and if you want to guide me, you can guide me. So fast forward 2 months, I get a book and I turn it over. God, there's Prabhupada. Right? No, not this guy again. And I said in my heart, I said, not now. Not now. I said, even though previously I said, you can guide me if you want, but I said, not now. Because in my mind, I felt, well, first, let me become famous. First, let me become wealthy. And then I'll do something spiritual. First, let me do these things, and then this. And that's not the way that this game works. It's not about doing or becoming or being something in this world, and then you're going to have bhakti, or first let me become initiated, or first let me become second initiated, or first let me have this powerful seva, or first let me be known, or first. No, that's not how the game works. First, do your bhakti. First, express your love. First, surrender. First, read the book, right? First, take the medicine, and then allow that medicine to cleanse and to purify the heart. And so this was this is our state, is that how can I get into this space of genuinely expressing the love or the affection that's in my heart? And if I do not feel that affection, how can I do that in a way that is pleasing? Because sometimes we feel like, well, I got to be blissed out to do this. And sometimes it's a bitter medicine to take, and it can be very difficult. But how can I still do it in a way that pleases? Because that's the process, right? That's not the pageantry. It's not just the external thing so that people think that I'm a devotee, or people think that I have bhakti, or people think that. No, we do it in a way that's very pleasing. Today, because it's a specific day, Akshaya Tritiya, and in astrology, it's a very special day today as well. But it's also Chandan Yatra starts today. So the day that 21 days straight, that we anoint the deities with sandalwood paste. And it's exciting. But there's a great stories. I mean, there's so many stories behind this particular day. If you want the material aspect of it, or you want the more external aspect of it, you're going to find that today is a day where, if we look at it from in one sense, the Eastern perspective, and I always say this when I'm doing astrology stuff, is, we have a hard time humbling, generally, myself included, but I think, especially the Western mindset has a really hard time understanding that we are very, very tiny and insignificant. It's like really hard to get that, or to grasp that. That doesn't mean we don't have unlimited value. It just means, wow, we are in an atmosphere that is very benevolent, very loving, but is very calculated, right? The sun is so powerful in our lives. The moon is so powerful in our lives. These personalities, Brihaspati or Jupiter, these personalities, Shukracharya or Venus, are very powerful in our lives. Shani, so powerful in our lives. And we forget that we're being influenced at all times. So on a day like today, what's happening is there is favorable, in a bigger atmosphere, there's very big personalities that are rooting us on. And so today is a great day to dedicate ourselves to something. Now, You can start a business today, you can deposit some money today, or you can buy some gold today, and you can do a lot of the, in one sense, the pageantry behind, or the externals of the day. And it's gonna provide benefit, but that benefit is just there to get you faith, to start to understand that, oh yeah, there is something bigger than me. There is actually, I am part of an amazing system that was set up by the Lord. Like, it's incredible. It's like, wow, I can take a deep breath and rest, knowing that I'm not controlling and manipulating this whole thing. That actually there's benevolent forces pushing me to go deeper, pushing me to, believe it or not, at the end of the day, do exactly what these elderly wives did, pushing me towards pure devotion. That's what the forces are there for. They're pushing me for that. How can I refine my expression of love? That's it. That's the main thing, is the main thing. We keep it simple. That's what those forces are there for. And a beautiful thing is that because it's warm out, especially in Brudge right now, that we're here to please the Lord. And when it's hot, I like a little cooling. I mean, we just manipulate the environment, especially here in Florida. My God, in the summertime, you don't have AC. Oh, forget it. You're going to lose about 20 pounds and just sweat and be miserable, and have about 2 hours of the day to get up early in the morning, and then not just sweat through about 3 changes of clothes. That's just what happens. So in Brudge, it's nice right now to have a cooling atmosphere. And what's the best thing to do? Sandalwood paste. It's so pleasing. If you've ever done it, I'm sure we've all had that experience where they'll take the chandan from the deities and they'll put it on the sides of our temples and that, and you look kind of crazy, but you feel good. But imagine if the whole body was smeared with this. How cooling that would be. How pleasing that would be if you're so hot. And so that's the whole idea of Chandan Yatra, is I'm here to please the Lord. I'm here to cool the body of the Lord. What a beautiful experience, and what a beautiful meditation. Now, just in your mind's eye, you can even think about anointing the body of the Lord with sandalwood paste. And imagine you do that every single day, and you're making I mean, if you've ever made sandalwood paste, it is, you don't have to go to the gym after that. You're good, because it is a heavy experience of, your right arm is going to get tired. Then you got to move to your left arm, and then you got to try both. It takes a lot of energy to do that, actually. And then you take this sandalwood paste, and then you slowly start to paste it on the body of the Lord. And the impressions that has it's so powerful. It's so beautiful, because you're seeing the form of the Lord. You're pleasing the form of the Lord. You're meditating on the cooling aspect. And this is what, and this really started in, I guess, more and more in earnest with Madhavendra Puri, who we read about in the CC. And in our men's group, we just read this whole pastime. And I'll tell you what, there's so many little zingers in this pastime. It is such a beautiful pastime. I want to actually read it with you all, but I spoke too long. But it's a beautiful pastime, Madhavendra Puri, of genuine devotion, spontaneous, loving devotion, keeping the main thing, the simplicity and the depth of Madhavendra Puri is just so beautiful. Seva, sacrifice, going great lengths and great distances, fueled by a desire to please. That's the main thing, right? That's the river flowing to the sea. He's being carried by his inner life. He's being carried by the process of affection towards the Lord. And that's eventually where we're all headed. And so I'll shut up now. More to say, but I want to open it up for any questions or thoughts or comments before we see the Lord.
Temple room.
Who's there? Who's there?
Adi and the demigoddess. demigoddesses and demigods. Buddy.
There went, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful class and the wonderful subject matter. The fact that these Matajis, these girls were joyfully, enthusiastic, like you said, rock and roll. Let's go get this. Let's go give this to Krishna. That their enthusiasm was fueled by their affection for Krishna, and they, without no holds barred, they just threw themselves into like generously and abundantly and to the greatest capacity that they had, wanted to give this to Krishna. And so that's our life. You made this point very clearly. We can only reflect it that Krishna consciousness is not dry. The Vaidhi Bhakti stage when we're just following rules and regulations is one thing, but there's a spontaneity that bubbles up, and then we take on even difficult things like fun, right? And so, how does Krishna do that? Krishna is so wonderful that his love flows through us, and you know what it's like with children. In your own experience, you start to see the world through their eyes. Oh, look at the doggy. Oh, look at the big truck. You're seeing it through their eyes. So that joyfulness comes out. My experience in Krishna consciousness, when we're sharing it with other people. We gave one girl a book yesterday, and she grabbed that book. Vaishya Shekhar says, trust the hand. The eyes, they tend to look at form. The hand, when you put something in front of it, the hand will grab it. But I was remarking that something, and well, of course, it's a checkout girl at one of the supermarkets that we stop at. And we've been seeing her again and again for the last few months and mentioning a few things. But this was the first time I offered that person a book. And I saw the way she took that book. And that book, she had that book open like 2 seconds after it was in her hand. And she almost dove into it. People are hungry. So when we see Krishna consciousness through the people that we share it with, Vaishya Shekhar was saying this recently, that by giving it, that first blush, like right now he was talking about the all the blossoms, that first blush of spring, that first taste that we get, that Krishna gives us when we come to Krishna consciousness, and when we see that through other people, that reminds us, that's what this is about. This is normal. This is natural. This is exciting. This is expansive. This is unlimited. And hey, let's do it. Anyway, I talk too much. Oh, glory to Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu.
Thank you for wonderful
Right.
class.
Thank you. Yeah, the heart sounds like the checkout lady's heart was flowing like a river.
I wish you could have seen it. It was amazing to me. Yeah.
Krishna Daya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful insights. Wonderful class. At one point you were saying your personal experience, and Maharaj was telling you bhakti should be done in a pleasing manner. So sometimes in this world of dualities, so we try to be good with devotees and then be friends with all the devotees. When we are trying to please somebody, it may not be apparently pleasing somebody else. So, and how do we understand, what is the right thing to do?
Of how to please, especially other devotees?
I mean, we know that we are pleasing one devotee and he is getting happy, but it's not pleasing to another third person. So that is the tricky.
That's a great question. And it's very nuanced, right? Because of the different psychophysical natures that people have, it requires such grace. It requires such prayer and intelligence on how to do that. I mean, such good examples are there of personalities that we've both met where somehow they can please everybody. Like, what is that? But generally my experience is that I can't please everybody, and that's why I'm not Krishna. that's why my bhakti, that's why I have to keep praying that I can become simple and loving and kind, and that I can find those devotees that in one sense I know how to please, if that makes sense, like basically like-minded devotees, so that I can, because I mean, in one sense, when the heart is bubbling over, as Adi Purush Prabhu said, then there's a even if I don't know how to please, there's a aroma or an atmosphere that expresses itself, because there's a joyfulness in the heart, or there's that connection in the heart and a desire, and people can feel that. They can feel this person cares for me, even if they're not expressing it perfectly. But yeah, that's our road. It sounds like you're talking about all of our long road right there.
Thank you so much for the point what you said. Even if we don't know how to please, most of the times that is also the case. We don't know how to please. But what you said is so true. Like if you are bubbling with that desire to serve and then happiness, the aroma has its effect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I think Govinda Prabhu was giving a class and talking about how Ram's leadership, and how Ram would just go there and he would just be with people. And they said, he's so great. Well, why is he so great? Because he's just with us. He doesn't even solve our problems. He's just with us. He cries with us, right? And that's the way in one sense. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Bhima Prabhu. Oh, wow.
Hari Bol, Jai Giridhari. Wonderful to see your handsome mug again.
Nice to see
can I be
you.
heard okay? Am I breaking up?
You sound great.
Okay. I am breaking up though, but that's on the inside. I just wanted to say that example that you or that story, anecdote that you told of getting the book and seriously saying to yourself, not now, not yet, because that's what happened to me. I met Radhanath Maharaj, and then, of course, I opened the Gita. You only have to read, even though I was a philosophy, had a minor in philosophy and stuff. As soon as I started reading the chapter 2, I have to surrender, because this is infallible knowledge. And it was overriding anything that, and this was in college, of course, but I knew full well by meeting Radhanath Maharaj that there was a sort of a letting go and a giving up of material pursuit. And I was like, well, I'm not ready for that. Not yet, not now. And I am reminded every morning of that feeling that you expressed, that we face that every morning, even if we're engaged in devotional service. Adi Purusha has gathered myself and some other wonderful devotees to work on a project much like his own, with the youth hostel and distribution of knowledge, etc. And it's very labor intensive. And when you get up in the morning, you're talking to people from immediately at 2 a.m. Instead of chanting my rounds, I immediately see that there's 5 questions from China or Japan or Indonesia. What time can we check in? Can we leave our luggage? So I want to answer those things, but this was formally the time that I had been used for immediately, as we are all want to do, is to immediately dive into chanting or to reading the book and try to conquer that mind before the mind conquers us. So we see all of us devotees that gathered in this project, we had a weekend of tremendous labor because of a transition that we were going through. And a lot of us neglected our sadhana. And even the most stalwart of us, we were crumbling by the end of the weekend. We were literally crumbling. I won't say who, but one person was on a train to get out of Dodge. They were like, I can't do this. I've left Krishna behind. I can't, I'm losing my mind because it literally was a 24-hour endeavor to try to pull things together. And we had 40 people, 40 guests, depending on us to have it together. So I just want us to remember that not yet and not now happens as soon as we open up our eyes every morning. Are we going to take care of the trivial, or are we going to take care of the absolute? And every morning I'm faced with, do I answer these people now, or do I call on Krishna? I'm at the stage where I'm calling on Krishna while I'm answering these people. So I'm halfway there.
This is it. This is it. Wow. That's it. I was waiting
Hare
for you
Krishna.
to reveal that. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah, Hare Bo.
Haribo. And that's the thing. That's when the bhakti or the devotion has been fixed, is you're calling on Krishna and you're answering. You know, that's a very beautiful realization. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Yeah, the moment we're there. Do we want the trivial or do we want the real? Thank you. Back to you.
Yeah, we have somebody here.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribo.
Dr. Pranam, I'm very, very thrilled to hear your message in this beautiful morning, and especially one of the word which you mentioned about accept we being insignificant. That's something which I felt like for everyone it's very difficult to accept that we are insignificant and we are very tiny. That's something which really it's something really touched my heart. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And also, Prabhu, about the second question about someone was asking about if I please someone else, maybe someone else is not pleased. But if Krishna sits in everybody's heart. So if we really love Krishna, somewhere other ways, others' heart also will start melting, and it will reflect upon everyone. Through Hare Krishna. He says, Indra Arudhani Maya. He is an instrument, and he influenced everybody else to facilitate to get things done for us. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that was the greatest question, and that's what the story is about, and that's what before all of us. How do we actually approaching somebody who's not there and may not seem to be ready? What do we do about it? You know, and you were saying you have to be there for them. We have this super over at where the kitchen is for feeding the homeless. He's a gigantic guy. He has 10 kids. He's actually outrageously big body, and we needed some repair work to the sign on the kitchen, and his name is Junior. I said, Junior, can you help us with this? Oh, I don't want to. The ladder's around the corner, and I got 2 minutes all locked up, and I have to move other stuff to get it. I don't have time, and I was just like smiling with, I wasn't attached to him doing it, but we did ask him, and he just finally said, I'll go get the letter right now. It was funny, just be with them, and it's their doubt and your faith and your understanding that we're not trying to just get you to do something, but we care about you.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is for Krishna, and this is good for you. And just that gentle being there for them has the devotee's consciousness has the effect. Krishna will work through us. How wonderful is Krishna that he helps us to bring people from the point of hesitation or doubt or fear, or to coming to the point of saying, okay, I'll do it. Krishna will help us.
Yeah. Krishna's in the heart. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ananda Bihari Prabhu?
I'm here listening very, very attentively. I really liked how you highlighted the material aspect of Akshaya Tritiya, that it's not it. You may buy gold or start a business or whatever, but devotional aspect of Akshaya Tritiya. Can you speak a little bit more on that? What's a good thing to do on a day like this for people like us? Maybe Krishnadai can let you up, Shastrikli. He watched Krishna consciousness movies when growing up. He's very solid in his bhakti.
That's for sure. We can tell that. Yeah. What do you do?
And I see the darshan is coming up. So maybe if you can stick around for the afterglow, that'd be great. Just a few minutes after darshan.
Sure.
Okay. Now cameras on, dear devotees, if you can. Hats off, Bhima Prabhu. Krishna will take a look. Yes, very good.
Huh? It's getting better.
Jai Bhai Charan. Good morning. Good morning, Jai Bhai Charan. What's up? Good to see you. Nice hair.
Thanks.
Okay.
So you asked the question of
Yeah.
what's the material and spiritual aspect of it, right? Of this day.
What's the spiritual aspect? Material, I already know, you know. Buy gold.
Well, that's a direction for it, but basically what's the essence of it is that whatever you do, see buddy. Oops. Okay, you get something. Whatever you do is doesn't depreciate today. Right? That's the essence of it. So we already know that. We already know that any service rendered, there's no loss. There's never any loss to it. And so it's the same thing we try to live every single day. Right? Is that whatever service we do, it goes into the bank account. We're picking up always where we left off, that type of thing. But it doesn't change the fact that we need a reminder regularly. Hey, you want to show them some trucks? Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that truck.
Yeah.
Did you hear this?
You want to show them? Yep.
Guy just said, what if
Wow.
Yeah, that's my boy. But anyway, it's a good thing, right? Like, and the thing is, as devotees, sometimes we'll pretend like we don't need that reminder, but we do need that reminder. You know, we need that reminder that every day is a new day. It's fresh,
Yeah.
and that devotion whatever you're giving to your guests, whatever you're giving in your chanting, whatever you're doing, it's ever fresh, and it's heard, it's meaningful, and it's important. And it's also and Krishna set up a really cool system. You know, he set up an amazing system of managers and amazing system of care for all of us, that we should also be cognizant of that. And, you know, we should put our heads on the ground for Surya, you know, nothing wrong with that. Put our heads on the ground for all these great personalities, including our spiritual master today. And that's pleasing. So we're trying to please the Lord today, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a good day to start fresh. It's a good day to, like, for myself, it's a good day to make a recommitment to Prabhupada and say today. Yeah, I said not today before, but actually today, let me try to. So that's why my head's bowed to you, Ananda Bihari Prabhu, because you engaged me today. And I'm very, very thankful and very, very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Jai Giridhari. Beautiful class. Nice trucks, Jai by Charan. You're cool. You're so cool. I want to be your friend. Okay, Bhima Prabhu, you have your paw up.
Yeah, Jai Giridhari, you said that whatever we do, it's put in our bank account, right? I'm looking at my statement here, and I'd like to cash in. I'm kind of like, it's time for me to cash in type of thing. I've been depositing, actually haven't been. I've been withdrawing. All right. I just wanted to say that that is a great solace to know that whatever we do, that Krishna is not going to forget. And we should always try to remember that because it makes all our steps forward, even if we feel like we're going backwards somehow on Krishna's path. Our little truck keeps going forward. So, wonderful class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, you have deposited and you're reaping the rewards through your smile. We all can feel it. So we know that. We're the beneficiaries. Venetia, good to see you. Amazing to see you.
Okay.
You leave it in the bank, you'll get interest.
Adi? Adi,
Yeah,
the banker.
you leave it in the bank, you'll get compound interest. It's there for you.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful day. Akshaya Tritiya, don't blow it. It's a reminder. And come again tomorrow. For a devotee, Akshaya Tritiya is every day. Every day.
Every day.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Jai Bacharan. Take care.